There we go. I got my sound effect. That's what I was trying to do. Looks like the dogs are in the... Hello. Testing, testing. Was that working? My audio? Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's good. Let's see. I think I'm just going to go to that one. This one. Yeah. Or maybe that one. This one. Oh, not. maybe that one. Or this one. Or no, not that one. Let's see. This one right there. All right, how's it going out there, everybody? Another day, another day. We're getting close to the end of the month here. Been sort of a busy day out there. I've got a whole bunch of other. We went over those. I thought I made a video earlier. Probably didn't get seen very much, but yeah, maybe we can go over some of those again, and then. There was a whole, I don't think I've went through the entire batch, I think 250 to 300 yet. And I thought what we could do is, I'm not going to put like, on my 3D characters that I have, I'm not going to put wounds on them or anything. But I wanted to go through those documents and figure out and then pose them how they're supposed to be posed so we can accurately have sort of a representation of where they were all found. How's that sound? All right. Let's see. Did you guys see that video from earlier? It was pretty interesting, some of the different elements. What did you guys think of that? There's I put out 5 videos. Hey, thanks CR, gifted a membership. Look at that, you guys, right there, right out of the gate. And Enid Melendez. There we go. Did I get that right? Enid Melendez. It's hard to these names with these @ symbols. Too hard. There's no separation there. Thanks, Sandy Shirley. Oh, there goes my stomach. Oh, I was on Court TV tonight, but I don't know if you saw it. I just didn't like. I mean, I sometimes when I'm on Court TV and they have me answering stuff like, so what did Kohberger talk to the investigators about, or something? And it's like, I don't know. That's not really that's not my gig. I read that stuff, I'll tell you one thing that I thought was pretty interesting was that, let's see, Kohberger talked about going to UC what was it? I'm not sure if it was UC Berkeley or what the hell that was. Let me see that. What was it? Remember, he was going to go to either Pullman or UC something. I don't remember what the last name was. Gosh, Gray, you must feel so validated with everything recently since sentencing, everything you've been saying since the beginning being affirmed. Yeah, that's what yeah, Irvine, there you go. Yeah, well, thanks. I I do feel that way. I feel like I've investigated and put together the case, just as good as anybody could possibly do without having the files in front of them. And, that's why, Steve even would send some of the stuff that I made to the prosecutors, hoping they had something similarly as good. When I do my animations and of the cars moving around, etc. Yeah, so let's see. Just a second. So here's something I thought was interesting. There's two different people that I thought were interesting. This right here. So you see Irvine, I mean. This guy right here, the criminal brain has always held a fascination for James Fallon. For nearly 20 years, the neuroscientist at the University of California, Irvine, that's where Kohberger wanted to go, had studied the brains of psychopaths. He studies the biological basis for behavior. And isn't that exactly what Kohberger was doing? A behavioral, criminology, behavioral science kind of deal. That's what he wanted to do, right? Put a comment if that's what he... I think that's exactly what he was doing. Do you guys remember that? That's why he did those... he took the courses from behavioralists. Hello? Anybody there? Yeah, okay. So then this says, about 4 years ago, Fallon made a startling discovery. It happened during a conversation with his then 88-year-old mother, Jenny, at a family barbecue. I said, Jim, why don't you find out about your father's relatives? Jenny Fallon recalls, I think there was some cuckoos back there. Fallon investigated. There's a whole lineage of very violent people, killers, he says. One of his direct great-grandfathers, Thomas Cornell, was hanged in 1667 for murdering his mother. That line of Cornells produced 7 other alleged murderers, including Lizzie Borden, wow, cousin Lizzie, as Fallon Wiley calls her. A little spooked by his ancestry, Fallon set out to see whether anyone in his family possesses the brain of a serial killer. Because he has studied the brains of dozens of psychopaths, he knew precisely what to look for. To demonstrate, he opened his laptop and called up an image of a brain on his computer screen, and that says, here is a brain that's normal. He says there are patches of yellow and red. Then he points to another section of the brain in the front part of the brain, just behind the eyes. Look at that. There's almost nothing here, Fallon says. This is the orbital cortex, the area that Fallon and other scientists believe involved with ethical behavior, moral decision-making, and impulse control. People with low activity in that area, in the orbital cortex, are either freewheeling types or psychopaths. So then he said, hey, thanks, Jenny. He's clearly oversimplifying, but Fallon says the orbital cortex puts a brake on another part of the brain called the amygdala. I think that was in that Waterboy movie, which is involved with aggression and appetites, but in some people there's an imbalance. Anyways, this guy, he determined that he was a psychopath too, this professor. So maybe Kohberger wanted to go there because of that. You know, you've got this behavioral person who's a psychopath himself. These articles are from like 2010 and 13 and 4. So he would have known about all this if he was looking into that program over there. And then you have, what's his face? James Holmes, the Aurora, the movie theater shooter. He was the same thing. He was in neuroscience, trying to figure out why he was the way he was. And then you've got Kohberger, who was doing something similar. Isn't that interesting? I don't know. I find that... I wonder if... I'd like to hear what somebody... Maybe that Brucata guy, it would have been kind of cool to see what he would say about why some of these guys seem to study what they are, almost, but they don't tell people that. You know? It's pretty weird. Pretty weird. Let's Let's see. But anyways, if you guys are watching, we're still trying to get to the end of the month, so if you have the ability to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, I know there's people out there that hate when somebody actually says that, but that's the only way the channel actually makes an income, other than a little ad revenue, just barely, that comes in. So you guys are the people who support my channel if you like what I do. I think I do pretty good at figuring crap out. Okay? All right. Yeah, maybe we'll just take a look at these again. You guys want to look at those again from earlier? I thought this was kind of interesting. One of his, like, cellmate people. On August 21st, 2024, I received an email from Department Prosecutor Ashley Jennings containing a link to a recent inmate transport wherein one inmate mentioned Kohberger. I accessed the secure link and watched the video. The male inmate, so-and-so, was being transported to southern Idaho and was talking to a female inmate. And so, you know, this male inmate's talking to a female inmate. During their conversations, the inmate stated he was housed in maximum security, to which the female inmate replied, "Oh, you were in there with Kohberger?" And then the inmate stated he was, and then the female inmate asked how is he? And then the inmate said, "He's a effing weirdo." And then he continued to say if he wasn't worried about further legal repercussions, he would have physically assaulted Kohberger. And then the female inmate then asked him if Kohberger did it, referring to the homicides, and then you know, he didn't know the answer, and then they didn't really look into it more. I just thought that was kind of interesting that they're actually talking to somebody that was housed with them. Breaking news. I'm just saying breaking new details. These are all new stuff that we're going over. Hey, thank you up there, Edna, Enid, Melendez. And please turn off the reaction bar. Why are you so hyper focused on that? Sandy, you always seem like, even in the live stream, you're just so hyper focused on it, like it's some, you know, like it's just ruining your day. All right, it's turned off again. All right. Oh yeah, you remember a long time ago, huh? Geez, Sandy, I mean, you're just, I mean, look at this. I don't even want to, it's weird, man. I mean, give me, yeah, I'm trying to do a show. I'm actually reading documents. How do I see your reaction bar? The emotion bar gets in the way of chat. Yeah, okay. But I'm just saying, it's just, you know, kind of read the room. I'm trying to do a show, and I'm let's see. So he talked to another inmate at the Latah County Jail at the time, and had been housed next to Kohberger since August of 2024 until Kohberger transport to Ada County on September 15th, 2024. And this guy said, I responded to the Latah County Jail and spoke to this inmate. I began asking him what he thought of Kohberger, having had to live next to him. He told me Kohberger was highly intelligent and polite for the most part. He told me Kohberger would often question him about his past criminal offenses. See, just like his survey, and why he was in maximum security wing of the jail. I asked him what he thought of Kohberger's intelligence, and he said he was the smartest person he had encountered while in confinement. I think Kohberger just makes people think he's smart, like the way he talks, you know. It's just, he told me Kohberger quickly became annoying because of some of his habits. He told me Kohberger would wash his hands dozens of times. You know what I think? I bet you when he was at home, prior to going to Pullman, he never washed his hands. But now, they know that, oh, wow, so they have me in my kitchen with gloves on. Now I've got to pretend that that's something that I do. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to wash my hands all the time so that there'll be reports of, look at, I've got OCD. I'm just over here cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. I bet you anything, that's all an act like Richard Allen did. Yeah, he needed to sell a story. Because his family members all say that they've never seen him wear gloves or any of that crap. Okay. It's okay, Sandy. It's just... let's see. BK IQ is 119. What's his IQ when he took it off the internet, I guess? Well, 119 is pretty high, actually. You know, that's way above average. This high average. It says considered high average intelligence. You know, average intelligence is 90 to 109. High average intelligence is 110 to 119. And just one more point more, and it would be super intelligence. All right, so, you know, it's not like it's just sort of slightly above average. You know? All right. Well, that's what he was doing in Pennsylvania when he was being questioned. That's what they were. He just kept going around and around and around. He wanted them to give him information, but he also wanted to exercise his right not to say anything. And he was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you know. And then the detectives were like, "Nah, you've already said you want an attorney." So, I mean, he knew why he was there. It's obvious. I thought one of the lines that was pretty funny that he said was, "How long have you guys been working on this?" You know, like he was making fun of them how long it's been taking them. Anyways, let me go. I'm gonna go look at the more of these ones in 250 to 300. I don't think we made it here, do we? Yeah, so it looks like I made it all the way to. Well, no, I did go all the way to 293. I mean, we could do something where if you guys want to call in and talk about some of the stuff that you have seen. I mean, I've got some, like, audio over here we could play. You know, I'm not going to be able to play videos, but maybe we could just play some audio from, like, Bill Thompson was on a whole bunch of shows. $2,000 subs? No. I mean, I don't think there's 2,000 viewers here. It's fake. That's that new attorney they hired. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the part that's just too as bothersome. Yeah, we get it that you wanted to. It was a good decision, but you got to go get the answers then, as part of it. God, this is so crazy. This stupid camera. It moves around. Oh, you couldn't hear anything? Oh. Oh, maybe you could now. I think I had something turned on. Sorry about that. I was listening to. So I was just sitting there doing nothing, staring at the screen. That's funny. That is funny. It was the, let me see. It was just this.
The defense approached his team about a plea agreement at the end of June. He believes it was the right ending to the case, even if some victims' relatives disagree.
Sorry, guys.
There hasn't been a day since that we haven't been thinking about and working on this case.
November 13th, 2022. A tragic day, Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson says still feels overwhelming years later.
I think anyone who doesn't feel some emotions in this case has something wrong with them.
A case that's now over after an Ada County judge sentenced Brian Kohberger to life in prison on Wednesday for killing 4 University of Idaho students.
He didn't just take them from the world. He took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home.
All the victims, all the families, these are good people. You know, they're suffering and they're going through so much pain. And we hope ultimately that the resolution here will provide some support on the road to healing.
Special prosecuting attorney Josh Hurwitz says the plea deal negotiated by both legal teams was the best possible outcome.
It provides finality. It prevents re-traumatization.
Some of the victims' loved ones disagree. Kaylee Gonzalez's brother, Stephen, put Thompson's record on blast after the sentencing.
There is a clear and troubling pattern. Families are left feeling unheard, justice is negotiated down through plea deals, and the public is left with unanswered questions.
Thompson pushed back on those claims.
Every case stands on its own merits. And every case that my office has handled since I took office 33 years ago has been decided based on what is unique to that case. I understand and I respect feelings of some of the families or the family members who don't agree with our decision. I honestly do. But there are also other.
Well, yeah, I was messaging Olivia today, and I said you're. I think it was one of the best I've ever heard in my life. Her impact statement, because it was not only, she was really cathartic to, like everybody that's known Kohberger's the killer this whole time, and all the family members and everybody. She said exactly what you would want to be said. She basically kind of emasculated Kohberger by being exactly the quintessential version of women that Kohberger hates the most. So that's how she did it. She was this strong, powerful, smart, pretty woman up there that was just absolutely just smoked him into the ground, told him to sit up straight, you know, and yeah, got just everything. Just went through the whole thing, just totally. She's somebody that he probably, like if he was out, would just have attacked immediately. And he didn't get to do that. And that's the whole point. He wasn't going to get to do it, so he has to sit there and he has to deal with that fact for the rest of his life that he isn't going to get to ever exact revenge on. And she was like the absolute perfect version of a, you know, maybe she just wore a blonde wig, you know. I'm just saying, but she was like the perfect version of a woman that he would hate. You remember how he just said recently something about how there was a friend of his, I guess he was talking to, and he said that, you know, women should just be in the kitchen and, you know, shouldn't work and, you know, basically, you know, go back to the 1950s or something. I mean, how ridiculous, you know. Thanks, CR. And so she was exactly the opposite of what he, or not the opposite. She was exactly the type of woman that Kohberger hates the most, and had to sit there and listen to it. Oh God, it was so great. That's why people clapped. It was like this instinctual feeling. You got to give Judge Hippler props too, because he, normally that stuff's not allowed, but he let everybody feel exactly the way they wanted to feel, say what they wanted to say, and said nothing to them, allowed them to do it, and even explained at the end why he allowed them to do it. Kohberger's a freaking monster, you guys. Hey, thanks, CR up there. All right, you guys, we're currently at 1/8 of a goal, so if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, we're getting near the end of the month. We only got 6 days left. Yeah, she was amazing. Yeah, you let it slide. Yeah, that was good. I don't think I've seen this one. Which one is this? 296. Just another Elantra. Somebody over by the Arco station. Maybe that's what that other car was. One that was never around. See, remember there was that Arco. That was one that I thought was going to be Kohberger's car, because it happened to be right during that long between 3:39 and 3:56. Then all of a sudden, over that Arco, it looks like there's a white Elantra driving at 3:47. But turns out that wasn't him. Crazy, right? Yeah, when she said, Kohberger's a wannabe. Would you got anybody be interested in, getting on here? We've got the right here. There's the StreamYard link, and talk about any of the things that you wanted to talk about so far that you've seen. We can have our own Court TV right here. You can. Oh yeah, but I think I told you, right? When I was on Court TV, I couldn't see anything. It was just the screen was completely blank, and all it was I could see my video up there on Zoom, and they could see me, so I wasn't able to be like part of the show in terms of like, okay, here's the coast and here's somebody and you're talking to them. I had to just kind of listen. And then it feels weird, because then your mind starts, too much in your own mind, I guess, at that moment. Yeah, I mean, maybe there were smirks or whatever. I don't know what those were. But in one of the things that Thompson said today, that somebody sent me an email on, was that Thompson said that Dylan Mortensen, the item she was carrying, he carried out like this in both hands. That's what he was carrying. I mean, how weird is that? I mean, what the hell was that then? He was carrying it in both hands, like he needed both hands to hold it, whatever it was that looked like a vacuum. You're going to message more? Did you guys hear what I said about when I was on the show? When you can't see anybody and you're just having to talk? Maybe it was a heart. Well, I think hers was powerful because she was so emotional, Dylan. This is what I think. Like, people were clapping after Olivia, but I think if she was first, everybody would have been clapped for after that. Because that sort of opened the door, and then it was sort of impolite not to clap for everybody after that. But after they clapped for her, then they started clapping for everybody, because hers was so powerful. I don't know who's that. I don't know who Jory Vance is. Is there a troll in here? I don't see anybody with that name. How come I don't see it? I don't know, man. I don't know who you guys are talking about. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. Olivia followed her father who... Yeah, well, that's what she said. That's what Olivia said, that after her father turned it like that, she actually said to me that she had thought of rewriting it, and like, God, the stupid... God, this thing just drives me nuts. She thought of writing it over again. She had wrote it like again to be more like how everybody was. And then when her dad came out and then turned the podium, she went back to her original plan, and then that's what she came forward. It kind of reminded me of a lot of people don't know that, you know, when Martin Luther King gave his speech, I Have a Dream speech, he had a bunch of notes that he had taken. And when he first started the speech, it was kind of, you know, it was flowing. It wasn't the greatest in the world. And then at a certain point, he just put the notes aside, and he just spoke from his heart, basically, saying all those things, you know, at the end. I have a dream, and he kept coming through all these different things that he was saying. And he just did that out of his mind. That's why it got so good at the end. So... yeah, I don't know who that... I never saw that person that you guys are talking about. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Let's see. Are they one of the people that just come in and think they have all the facts? And heck yeah, you can tell. Mm-hmm. But also, it seems like he did hear what she said, because he looked furious. Now, we don't know what it was. Ice cold. Yeah, we don't have any idea. Let's see. So he was holding something, though, that went like this. You know, I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm doing, but, you know, like this. He was holding it walking out. When he passed Dylan, he was holding it, you know, lower than I'm showing you, but like holding it like this. So, I mean, what the hell was that? That's almost like he put the weapon and other things inside of a container and then took that out.
Fresh off the sentencing of the University of Idaho killer Brian Kohberger, are details that are coming out about that violent attack.
To be here with you. So this is the first time that anyone is hearing from Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson. He is the lead detective on this case
This is
for
ABC
Idaho State
News.
Police, and he was joined by
ABC
current
News.
Moscow Police Chief Anthony Jollinger, as well as lead prosecutor Bill Thompson. And Alex, we did our interview right inside here. This is the Latah County Courthouse. We were sitting in courtroom 3 for our interview.
Thanks, CR. CR has been helping the channel out quite a bit tonight. But so this channel relies on the generosity of the people watching. So if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, we have a DNA fund that we've put over $100,000 in, a scholarship fund that still needs another $1,000 for this year. That'll be $18,000 that we've given for students in the criminal justice world through a nonprofit, and then we donate money to various true crime related charities like Texas Equisearch, NCMEC, and RAIN, which is violence against women. We've given money to missing indigenous funds, the Black and Missing. We've given money to, just so many different places. And we're only able to do that is if the channel is doing well, and the super chats and all of that are what help us get to a point where we can do that. All right. So we seem to be having these nights where it goes really slow for a long time, and I'm not really sure. Like last night, I was on I did a 4-hour show. No, we're not going to watch any of that bull crap there. Seen a lot. All right, we're not watching any of that. All right, you go watch it. It's garbage. If you watched my channel all those years ago, you'd think I was a psychic too. Yeah, these psychics are full of crap, okay? And what they really are people who can think logically. And what they do is they think logically, think through the case, and then they pretend that the information they're gleaning is from, the other world, the psychics. All right? It's stupid. You're getting suckered in when you believe these people. They're just logical thinkers. That's it. Hey, thanks, Ballerina. He probably wanted to laugh at all their statements. All right, let me keep playing this. Listen to this.
That is the courtroom where a majority of Brian Kohberger's hearings were held when he was here in Latah County before this was moved to Boise. And look, a few things that are very important here that we heard from lead prosecutor Bill Thompson initially, that they didn't know who the target was, right? Well, what he told me today is that he personally feels that, like, for whatever reason, the target was one of the two women on the third floor.
Right, so Bill Thompson, we're getting as close as we can to him saying it was Madison Mogen. The other day it was like, well, we don't know that. I'm getting sick of the way they answer these questions. Just say what you think. Just say what you think, for God's sakes. They think it's one of the two women on the third floor. And yeah, maybe he went to Kaylee's room first and, she wasn't in there and then went over there. But then he says, well, he attacked Madison and I don't think he knew Kaylee was there. Okay, so then that means he went there for Madison, right? It's just really obvious. I don't know, man. I think he went straight to Madison's room. Now, some people think he went to Madison's room and Kaylee came running out of her room and that's when she got attacked, but her body position doesn't speak to that. She was tucked back in the corner, Kaylee. So that doesn't make any sense that she was in her room and came in and then somehow ended up far into the bed over there. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure it's not impossible. It's just less likely because of that. If she was found on the floor, I would say, wow, that's pretty, that's a chance of that.
Floor of this home. The two women on the third floor of this home,
I don't
Alex,
know who's Phil?
were Kaylee and Maddie. Take a listen.
I personally feel that for whatever reason, he targeted one of the young women on the third floor.
So he targeted one of the women on the third floor.
And the fact that he found them together, whether that was planned, we'll never know. It's more likely than not he did not expect to encounter Xana and the others up and about.
Yeah, so when you say Xana and the others up and about, who are the others? You say Xana and the others up and about. Because there was only, the only person that was up and about was Xana. That's it. Dylan was in her room, but she's not she wasn't one of the people he attacked. So when you say up and, the others, so Xana and others were up and about. Well, who were they? Because Kaylee wasn't up and about. She was literally sleeping on the bed with Madison Mogen, right? Now, you might say, if you want to, I just can't see. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that she came from her room and got into an altercation with Kohberger and then ends up in the far corner of it is a little bed, but then leapfrogged over Madison and is in the corner. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Yeah, what I said on Court TV today, they said, is there anything that really stood out? And they go, yeah, the ferociousness of Brian Kohberger's attacks, the two women that fought back, he absolutely went after them with ferocity and just brutal. something like that. Said something like that on there.
And that was unfortunate. We are fortunate that he got scared and ran and left without harming.
Yeah, I mean, when you say scared and ran, I mean, it might have just been, the dog barking and stuff. He thought, I got to get the hell out of here. Kohberger doesn't seem like somebody that would get scared. He does. I think he's sort of he's void of emotions. He's just technically thinking to himself, dog barking equals somebody might find out I'm here, I gotta go.
Dylan or Bethany. Dylan was so vulnerable. That young woman had an angel watching over her that night, or that early that morning.
No question.
She had an angel there.
Do you think
Dylan.
that Maddie was the target and that he was surprised to find Kaylee?
I don't think that we can tell what room he went into first.
They can't tell which room he went into first. Did he go into Kaylee's room first, or did he go into Madison Mogen's? I think he went into Madison Mogen.
He could have very well turned left at the top of the stairs into Kaylee's room and seen an empty room. Or, as you suggest, he could have intended on going directly to Maddie's room.
So even as we narrow this down here, Alex, there are still some looming questions here. And a reminder to our viewers that the knife sheath that was found underneath Madison Mogen, we're told by authorities, was found immediately. Also notable here that we've learned that Kaylee's injuries were far more significant than Maddie's, and she was in fact described by authorities as unrecognizable.
Yeah, it's because she fought back. I think he attacked Madison, and just that little struggle there, apparently, because it looks like Madison, based on what we read yesterday, had some defensive, maybe wounds on her arms, and then a little cut on her, a cut on her face, and then more severe wounds. And then I think I don't remember if it was a liver or something. She just got, she was killed. But then that probably woke up Kaylee. And then Kaylee, I'd really want to know who's the one that said that, hey, there's somebody here, but it's much longer than that. Remember how we were reading how Dylan said it was much longer sentence than some of the stuff that we heard, especially the part about, I'm here to help you. That was much longer. So maybe we'll go back and look at those again.
When they found her, Alex.
Wow, and that notion of motive is one of the big mysteries still with this case. But Xana, we also learned a little bit more about the night that Kohberger was questioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is the first time that we're hearing from Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson, and he traveled to Pennsylvania with another detective from Moscow Police, Brett Payne. And when they traveled to Pennsylvania after Brian Kohberger's arrest, they sat with him, they interviewed him, and he said that their interview was lengthy, that he was respectful, and that they talked a lot about things surrounding Washington State and his education, but that the tide really shifted when they asked him specifically about the murders here in Idaho.
And then about the third time, he was more pointed, wanting to know, and we said, well, I feel like you probably know why we're here. We're detectives from Idaho, and we're here because of the case in Moscow. And as soon as we mentioned that, then he stopped.
He
said, I don't want to talk anymore.
They described a few other things from that arrest as well. They told me that they
Pamela.
watched
We've said
the
that 100
body
times
worn
already.
cameras from the officers making that arrest, and that
What do you
Brian
mean?
Kohberger
we know she fought
was
that.
in fact
That's why she was
sorting
attacked.
trash, wearing gloves at the time that he sort of tried to run down the stairs, but that he was met by officers and that he was taken into custody without incident. They had been surveilling him for quite some time, and they told me that it was a bit odd that he was seen wearing gloves all over the place, in places that it wouldn't make sense, like at the DMV.
Right, and so that's why he, in prison, pretended that he has OCD. Oh, look at me, everybody. Oh, I'm going to wash my hands all day. Look at me. So people would start reporting, oh, it looks like he's got OCD. He wanted to develop a pattern so that he could explain why he was wearing gloves everywhere around his house, when his whole family had never seen him wearing that before.
and at the pharmacy. And Alex, they also told me that they would surveil him at night. And that one night, while he was wearing dark clothing, officers surveilling him almost hit him, essentially, as he was running across the street. So again, we're learning a lot of new details. I also want to mention to you, Alex, that there's been a lot of questions here about what was Brian Kohberger carrying, right? We know the surviving roommate, Dylan Mortensen, described someone clad in black carrying something like a vacuum. And the way that Bill Thompson described it to me was about like a container. And he went like this. And he said that Dylan described the man we now know as Brian Kohberger walking past her holding a container with both hands like this.
See, that's crazy.
Wow. No, that's
I
pretty.
mean, you gotta admit, like, that's pretty crazy right there, right? I mean, that's just, like, what is that? That means he was likely, the knife he used is inside of that. So what would he be doing? So at that point, he put it into something, and then maybe he was able to leave the house. I mean, like maybe maybe the black that he was wearing wasn't the suit, the Dickies suit that he was wearing. Maybe that was underneath the Dickies suit, and he put the Dickies suit, the gloves, and something else inside of a container, and then walked out of the house with that, and then... Wow, that would really minimize dramatically the blood that makes it into the vehicle, wouldn't it? That's crazy. Maybe like a time capsule for himself. But yeah, I'm not sure what to say here, you guys. We're just really struggling tonight. We're currently only at 1/6 of a goal, so I need your guys' support to try to get to our goals every single night. You know, I spent a lot of time doing these shows and doing videos, and, you know, the only way to keep being able to do these shows is with the support from the people watching. All right? Now, if you don't like that, then I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is here. Yeah, like he sat somewhere and he removed his items and he put it in there. Oh, isn't that crazy? Maybe he had Dickie shoes on. Maybe he wore those foot coverings that doctors wear, and then he took that off at the end and he walked out with his Dickie shoes on. But that'd be kind of stupid. You'd think you'd do that over at the door. Thanks, Lizzie Robb, one of the few that actually heard what I was saying. Thank you. We've already done all that. There's all these new people. Oh, look at Kohberger next to Bundy. Yeah, we've seen that shit for a long time. I made a video comparing Kohberger to Bundy on January 5th, 2023. What is that? 6 days after he was arrested. All right, thanks. Thank you, Macy Combs. I think I heard Thompson say today that he didn't know anything about Brian Kohberger sitting in a chair. Yeah, so what's that all about? You know, it's so weird. You got these specials, and they have these really great sources, apparently. And then all of a sudden, stuff isn't true. Like, hey, thanks. Mary Mellon. Very cool, thank you. I like getting to the point where I can donate my 5 memberships out. Wait, remember how there was blood on a chair in Xana's room or something? Yeah. Well, they just said that it looked like he sat there and there was sort of looked like an outline. You know, who knows if that's what happened. Maybe when Xana was fighting him, she fell over and sat, sort of sat on the chair. Yeah, it wasn't just him, though. It was... Dateline had the same sources as Howard Blum, and Howard Blum was one of Dateline's sources. Well, and I mean, what if he did what we're just saying here? That he had these shoe coverings on, and he was wearing the Dickies suit, and then he goes in there and he does the killing. And by the way, like the one detective said, you don't have to get blood all over you. You know, it just depends on, like let's say if you cut somebody's neck from behind, the arterial spray will probably go out the other direction. So you don't have to have, you know, everyone always thinks you're always going to be covered with blood and all the stuff like Carrie from, or Sissy Spacek in the movie Carrie. You know, no, it doesn't always look like that, okay? Maybe the blood was him sitting down and, well, yeah. What are you talking about, Mohammed? Can you guys get rid of that? Whoever what that is, we're not in here for these little religious posts that have nothing to do with anything. Yeah, just get rid of that. That's a bot, that account. Yeah, I was actually on Court TV with Howard Blum. He was the other guest on there. Did anybody see me on Court TV tonight? I'm just asking because I felt so weird. I felt like I was doing the show blind. He had to change before he left the property. Was it okay, at least? I mean, it was just hard. You know, you're just staring at a blank and into blankness. The first part was hard to answer, you know, because they led in with what I was going to talk about. Yeah, it was kind of a short. I think Brian took a plea deal to avoid being labeled an incel. I think he's labeled an incel regardless. Thank you, Ballerino. Do you think Brian's dad knew? I mean, that's you know, that's one of the hold on, what did that just do? Oh, weird. It did slide me up. Interesting. Wait, that's somebody else. I think the defendant had a mini flashbang. Where's the other one? Where? Let's see. Macy Combs said, "New here. Enjoy your coverage." Hey, very cool. Thanks. Lizzie Rob, super sticker. Where was the one I was just looking at? Oh, way down here. I guess it's off the screen. That's funny. I can't see. There it is. That one. Do you think Brian's dad knew? I think Brian's dad was suspicious that his son was the killer before he even drove him back. And then I bet you on the drive back, he became like he thought. But it was weird because their stories about how his sister. I mean, who knows if any of that crap is true now? You know what I mean? It's just, I don't even want to quote the books anymore. It just gets kind of. We're sitting there quoting books that so many factoids are completely wrong. So how do we know that the sister did anything? It was like, oh man, and they checked Kohberger's car for blood, and I mean, how do we know any of that's true? I think it's just better to go over these documents at this point. Let's see, did we go over these ones? We got 3. Let's see. I booked in a DVD contained the following files pertaining to jail phone calls. I see, I want to get these right here. There's jail phone calls. I'm not sure if they'll allow them to be heard, but I want those. Let's see what this one says. On Wednesday, March 13th, I received the email from Captain Blaker, who still receives voicemail tips. I called, let's see. The first tip was called in by, stated she thought she had matched with Kohberger in September or October of 2022 on Tinder. So maybe this is that lady. So let's see what their report says. Remember the you have nice birthing hips? I called, let's see, the person up and asked her to elaborate on her voicemail. She stated she signed up for Tinder in September or October of 2022, which is, like, that's really close. But she was unable to match with anyone in her area. She stated she paid for the additional Tinder feature, which allowed her to move a pin anywhere in the country to see if she could match with someone. She stated she matched with Kohberger a short time later and began to talk to him. She said Kohberger told her he was a criminology student at WSU. The two communicated via Tinder and planned for Kohberger to visit her when he came home for Christmas break that year. So this probably isn't that person. She then told me she had a friend who had been murdered in her town a couple of years ago, prior. She said she discussed this with Kohberger. The conversation turned to horror movies and which ones she liked the most. She told Kohberger she liked the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. Hey, thanks, Katie Dawson. Do you think the flash... Here, I'll keep that on the screen here. Let me just finish reading this really quick. The conversation turned to horror movies, and then she said to this, she answered she likes the Kohberger, she liked the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. To this, she said Kohberger asked what she thought would be the worst way to die. She said she thought it would be a knife. She said Kohberger then asked her something to the effect of, like a K-bar? She said she didn't know what that was and had to Google it. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. She said she eventually stopped talking to Kohberger because his question made her uncomfortable. His questions. Yeah, I mean, jeez, this guy's crazy. Here, I'll read the second part in a second. Do you think... Wait, not over there. Hold on. Right there. There we go. Do you think the flash and firecracker sound Bethany heard could have been a taser? No, I don't, actually. I think there's something off with Bethany's remembering. She might have been having a dream and then woke up and then assigned the elements that were in her dream. Because the thing is there was no... Kohberger didn't go down to the first floor, and there was no... like, where would the light under her door come from? It just sort of doesn't make sense. She might be remembering something from a different part of the night. You got to remember, these people were just sort of woken up. I mean, I can't tell how many times when I was younger, we used to torment my younger brother. He'd be just totally out cold, sleeping, and we would wake him up. Just wake him up, and his eyes are all glazy. We just wake him up, and his eyes are glazy, staring at our faces, just staring at us. And, hey, thanks, CR. And we'd say, Grant, remember this. Remember this word tomorrow. We'd say something like, Zimbabwe. Remember that. Just any word. Just some random. Just remember. You go, okay, yeah, look at it. And then the next day, we'd say, hey, Grant, you remember that last night? And he wouldn't even remember anything. He didn't remember we woke him up. He didn't remember a damn thing. So I think a lot of times people, you just don't have great memory when you're jolted into being awake. You don't remember what part of what you just saw was in your dream or not because you woke up right then. Yeah, it sounds like he just absolutely went nuts. You know, he learned how to box and everything, and probably used the boxing with the knife. Hey, anyways, thanks, CR. That was so kind of you up there. Let's see if we can get some more channel memberships. We've only got 11 gifted ones tonight. We need about another 20 or so of those. Yeah, Garrett, Gray, and Grant. I had a brother that passed away named Garrett. So it was Garrett, Gray, and Grant. But when I was born, I always tell the story, and all the trolls think they're so clever, but I was born L. Gray Hughes, and I was just going to have an initial L and be called Gray, you know, because Garrett, Gray, and Grant. And then the doctor wrote Lance on the birth certificate, because he goes, L, what the hell's that? And he wrote Lance on there. So, you know, that's what officially Lance, but that's not my name, you know. It just kind of sucks. It's like every place I always have to say the same thing. Yeah, he was probably like boxing, punching, stabbing, you know, like he was just crazy. Anyway, let's see what the rest of this says down here. That was the Google it said she eventually stopped talking to Kohberger because his questions made her uncomfortable. My friend shaved his brother's eyebrows one time while he was passed out. Good times. Well, you know what's funny? My brother, he had these really long eyelashes, and he didn't like that he had long eyelashes. So he went and he cut them. It's like, what an idiot. That probably looked pretty good to the ladies out there. Hey, thanks, Christine, for gifting a membership. So anyways, this girl said when Kohberger was arrested, she recognized his photo and remembered the comment about the K-bar knife. I mean, I think this is a really interesting element here. I mean, just a piece of information. She said she attempted to call the tip line, but I have been unable to verify whether or not she called the Moscow Police Department tip line. Ooh, there's my stomach. There is no record of her calling the FBI tip line. She said she no longer had access to her Tinder profile and could not get her user ID. This would be needed to compare the Tinder records located on Kohberger's phone. At this time, there's nothing to corroborate her tip. That sucks. Hey, thanks, Ballerina00. Gifted a membership, and then we have @Lan Davidson. And by the way, you can send in a super chat with an actual topic to discuss. I think that works pretty good. Gray has me up past my bedtime. Oh boy. Yeah, oh boy. Oh, by the way, this is gonna sound crazy to you guys. All right, I'm gonna say this. So tonight I was after my show, I was about ready to get ready for the show, and my phone rings. And guess who it was? Anybody have any guesses at all? Yeah, I mean, probably the last person in the world you'd think. Now, go ahead. What do you think? Let's see. No. Trump, you know. No. No, it wasn't Olivia. I chatted with her on Facebook. I'll tell you, it was Chris McDonough called me up. And it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a bad phone call. He was actually really nice, and he just wanted to talk for a while. And, you know, there's been times like when I was on Court TV, he, you know, he seemed like he was normal and everything like that. So, you know, it was just interesting. You know, he calls up and we talked for a while. We talked for like, I don't know, half hour or something. Wasn't too bad. So I said, you know what? After talking to you, I won't I won't mention I call him the name that I always call him, and I won't bring up the thing about the glove and all that. All right. So there you go. So I thought it was cool of him to actually call. You know what I mean? Yeah, we talked for a little bit. He said he watches my show, and he's been, impressed with how we've figured everything out, put it all together, pieced it together, and stuff like that. And he came from it from like a friendly angle. He wasn't mad or anything. So I thought that was pretty cool, I gotta admit. So there you go. You just never know what this world has out there, right? Pretty crazy. So I'm just gonna. I won't just try. I will not bring up that stuff. And he didn't really say for me not to either. He just was talking about it. And I thought, well, that was kind of nice of him just to call and just talk like adults, and he wasn't mean or anything, and just he was telling me about some of the things that people think, and he had his version, and I don't know what the reality of anything is, but it just seemed like it was it was a decent conversation. Seemed like a decent person on the call. And that's the thing, when I'm on Court TV and he's in the same block, the next block or something, he's there. It seems pretty normal. So yeah, I told you guys, you'd never guess. You'd never guess who that was. But yeah, we talked about some of the case and everything. I mean, we were talking about the knife and how the significance of the importance of the knife with DNA on it. But the thing is, the sheath itself is really. My camera wiggled around again. God, I don't even like this thing. This camera. Yeah, so my theory is that if you have the knife sheath, even without the DNA on it, is a huge piece of circumstantial evidence, along with the Elantra. So even if there was no DNA on it, just think about how important the sheath is, because then you can go, once you found out Kohberger is a good suspect, you'd find the Amazon order and it's still the exact make and model, and circumstantially that places him in the house if you believe that the white Elantra, that's a 2014 to 16 missing a front plate, is his. Then you've got the knife sheath in the house, and then it really points to that's him in the house. Now, if you don't have the knife sheath, if Kohberger didn't leave it there intentionally or not, if you don't have that knife sheath at all, then all you have is the Elantra, which is still, it's powerful, like, oh, wow, okay. His phone's turned off. There's a white Elantra at 302 driving by Floyd's cannabis shop. Then we have it showing up over on Indian Hills Drive, and then it shows up on next to the A&W, and then it drives by Ridge Road, and then it drives by 1320 Linda Lane, then it drives onto King Road, picked up on the 1122 King Road, then we see it on 1112 King Road, and then we picked up on the 1330 Linda Lane camera as it comes around, then we see the headlights flash over there, and then it comes over, So you have all that, and you could say, okay, that could be his, and look at it, it's missing a front plate. That's all you would have circumstantially, that he was there. And then that the vehicle parked at 408 and drove away at 420, and then inside of that time frame, all of them were killed. And then you'd look up on Amazon and you'd see that he purchased a K-bar knife, but you wouldn't know that that was the make and model of the knife. You would just know that, okay, a K-bar could have done that. But that's why, if you have the sheath, now you know that K-Bar did it and he purchased one. Even without the DNA, that K-Bar sheath is a big deal. So we talked about some of that. Yeah. It was from Elliot Rodger Manifesto. What was? Yeah, I just think he... Well, some people say that those Dickie suits don't have a belt loop, but wouldn't he still just have put a belt around him? I mean, why would he just carry it in there? I don't know, man. I wish I could have asked... and they called me Gary for the first few minutes on Court TV. And I was like, yeah, I get that all the time. But isn't that what the other guy's name was? Gary? Isn't it his name, the psychologist? Gary Burkata or something? And then there was this other, their attorney's last name is Gray. It was just all crazy. Right. So this next part, it says, the second tip was reference a something driver who thought he saw Kohberger. I called this person and asked him to tell me what he saw. This person said probably Steve, said he delivers packages to the area of Pullman where Kohberger resided during 2022. Steve said he recognized Kohberger and had seen him while delivering packages to the area on prior occasions. Steve told me on the occasion he referenced in his tip, he noticed a man dressed in all black with boxing or elf shoes standing on a footpath behind Terra View Drive. 10 minutes later, I asked him what he'd been taking, and he said he had LSD 5 hours before. I don't mind the elf shoes. Doesn't actually say that, but I thought that'd be funny. Hey, thanks, M10. Dressed in all black with boxing or elf shoes, standing on a footpath behind Terra View Drive. This footpath provided an unobstructed view. Oh, wow. So is this one? That one. Let's see if that one's related to the one we talked about yesterday. Okay, what is that called? Terra. Man, this could be interesting. Terra View Drive. Okay, is this going to be inside there? Huh. Well, that's one in Pullman, though. I guess I didn't read the rest of this sentence. Standing on a footpath, Terraview Drive, the footpath provided an unobstructed view of apartment something where said the female tenants would be visible through a large window. Oh, interesting. So it's in Pullman. And he didn't put the apartment number, so... Said the female tenants would be visible through a large window. Steve said seeing the man who he said looked like Kohberger from what he could see was unusual given the location. Steve said he was not positive the man was Kohberger, but he resembled Kohberger's appearance. Steve told me he spoke to an FBI investigator early on, but wanted to make sure the information was passed on. I concluded my phone interview with Steve and thanked him. Let's see. Apartment, Terraview Drive. Well, he kind of lived up here, for sure. He lived up in, where was it? Like over here or something. Maybe it was right. Man, I can't remember. I'd have to turn it all on. Let's see. Right here. So there's Terraview Drive, and then Kohberger lives right there. I think this is G right here, if I remember right. I think he lives in this apartment. Yeah, so right there. So Terraview Drive comes up like that. That's kind of, you know, sort of interesting. Very close to there. Thanks, M10. And welcome, Crifffield Crew. Are you guys, most of you guys interested in the Go-Go Beach Rex Heuermann case at all? I think it'd be cool to start going back over those probable cause in that one again at some point. But until this is, I'm going to keep doing this until we're, you know, there's tons and tons of discovery coming out. I have a bunch of FOIA requests in myself. Yeah, so we'll go over that. But I want to know if the other people, the newer people that are here, would be interested in that. Because I want to do stuff that everybody's interested in. You know, sometimes I used to be able to cover cold cases, and everybody would, because there wasn't very many of us, so I'd still get 300 or 400 people watching. But nowadays it's like there's too many people, so you got to do stuff people are interested in. And I was wondering if that was one of the ones that people. Yeah, we did. We just went over Wendy Adelson, the whole probable cause, a couple days ago. I have that mapped out, so probably take a look at that when that's going on. All right, cool. Well, I expect to see you guys here then if I cover that at some point, all right? You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see what this next one is. On Friday, March 8th, 2024, I received an email from P.A. Thompson referenced the receipt of a phone survey. The recipient stated someone called her and began to ask questions about the Kohberger trial, to include questions about, must be about the those survey questions. Have I read, listened to, or seen any newsreels regarding Brian Kohberger? Have I read, listened to, or seen any television or movie? Remember that? I think this might be the thing that the prosecution was complaining about. I'm not sure why this needs to be in here, though. Do you feel the community has felt an excess of stress since the murders? Do you know a student that attends University of Idaho? Yeah. Let's see. I don't even want to go through those. Let's go back to the original document that we went over yesterday, and I'm going to open up my 3D Studio Max, and let's try to get, and we're going to have to go through a few of those documents because each one of them has a little different piece of information that maybe we can put the people in like the right place, I guess, in the house. I'm not going to put wounds or anything on them. For 2 years before I moved back to Boise. Sweet. I think we need 12 more channel memberships, and then I'll donate 5 myself. Or maybe it's 13, but God, see, you turn your head and that damn thing it's just ridiculous. Look, you turn your head and then it goes. What do you mean the court TV thing? It's on. It's not a. It's on television, the Court TV channel. And then later tomorrow or whatever. Have anybody gone to the video that I did 2 days ago? And under the comments, did you see the people that say, "I can't believe you had gray on again. I'm never watching again." Yeah, they say the same thing every time. Did they say that? Did you look at the comments underneath it? It's hilarious. Apparently they were underneath a blanket. I don't know if I can put them underneath that. Maybe I can. Yeah. Thought I had a folder in here called character. Yeah, it's right there. There it is, new models. All right, file. Let's see, file, import. Gotta wait now. Working on Kohberger, and then it was new models. Yeah, there you go. So let's see, maybe I'll just bring in this model right here. Okay, there we go. Hey, nice. Susan Hendricks. Oh, look at that. Nice words from Susan. Susan Hendricks. All right. So these are just going to be representations of people, you know, Xana and, Madison, and yeah, like the hair isn't going to look right and all that. Doesn't really matter. Oh Jesus! You see that? Look at that. That's crazy. What's going on there? That's wild. Well, maybe I'll do this on my own. I'm gonna just get rid of it because I have to do some other stuff, and I forgot that I have to put a dummy in there and do all these different things. Let's see, if it wasn't from Xana's room, then it could have been a forensic vacuum. Butho, did he do murder with that big? Man, I have no idea what you just typed in. Let's see, what did she say? Good stuff yet again. Cool. All right. Anyways, I'll just do this on my own here. Takes too long and probably get boring for people. But yeah. But I want to go. Let's go through anyways, and maybe I can jot down notes of what was said, and maybe one of you guys, if you want to, can do it. There we go. All right, you guys, we still need about 13 or 12 channel memberships, and then I'll donate 5 myself. That'll give a whole bunch more. Yeah, Olivia was, she was amazing. God, look at this stupid thing. I don't know how to keep it still. It just wants to, like, move. If I don't look right at it or something, it... God. What if I go right there? Is that gonna... Will that work for you, camera? I'm about ready to give up on this thing. Who's she? Kristinette? Who are you talking about? Alright, let's go down to the bottom here again. Alright, so it says at approximately 11:56, I'd gotten here. Upon arrival, I saw Hunter Johnson crouching near the entrance. Let's see. I saw a female covered in blood in the bedroom on the northwest side of the second floor. The northwest side. Yeah, that's right. I believe this female to be Xana. I looked inside the bedroom. Xana was laying, and it was obvious an intense struggle had occurred. Xana was obviously deceased. Hey, thanks, Chris. There you go. Look at that. 5 of them. 7 more to go. Xana was obviously deceased. There was blood smeared on various items in the room and all over the floor. There was blood cast off on the walls in various places, including above Xana. That means on the ceiling. I mean, that's crazy. Now, Xana was on her back on the floor in the center of the room with her head towards the west. Xana was in her underwear and a long-sleeve gray shirt. Both her shirt and underwear were covered in blood. Xana's face and body was covered in dried blood. I could see what appeared to be defensive knife wounds on Xana's hands. And I guess there was a lot of the wounds were that on her. That means she just kept blocking and trying to block. There was a deep gash on Xana's left hand between her pointer finger and thumb. So, like, right there in between, that's like a, the web of your, that's like exactly like you're trying to stop the blade, and it just cuts you right in the middle of your thumb webbing there. And welcome to all the new members there. Well, we don't know if he was picking up anything. If they have blood all over their body, when you're attacking somebody like Xana, she had blood on her, and she was moving around, and likely like touched things, and in the battle, she's touching things. It doesn't mean Kohberger is walking around touching stuff. I don't understand with Xana's, because Ethan was just passed out, drunk. Yeah. Like I just told you the story before about my brother, who, like, he would be not drunk at all, but completely out cold, and we'd wake him up, And he still wouldn't remember anything. So, you know, you can be like a zombie almost. I don't know. It just seems kind of like those kind of. I never even asked those questions. It's just like, yeah, he's out cold, and you know, he was still partially underneath the covers, but his legs were off the edge of the bed. Let's see. So it cut between her pointer finger and thumb. A partially covered male. So partially covered male was on the bed and also obviously deceased. I believe this male to be Ethan. The midsection of Ethan's body was covered with a blanket. Ethan's head wasn't visible and appeared to be between the bed and the south wall. There was some blood cast off and what appeared to be arterial blood spray above where Ethan's head was. You know, but the thing is, that doesn't describe... those other documents describe that better. But let me see if we can find those. Maybe I'll put them in their own folder. Or label them somehow. Yeah, it was like these early ones here. Alright, so I'm going to mark these once we determine. So in a third floor bedroom, I observed two females laying in the bed with which appeared to have been stabbed to death. The female laying on the left half of the bed, as I looked at it from the doorway, was unrecognizable. Her face was completely disfigured and was stabbed several times. I was unable to comprehend exactly what I was looking at while trying to discern the nature of the injuries. The second female on the right half of the bed had multiple stab wounds. The comforter was soaked in blood and a pool of blood was still present. I was assigned to hold security. And then right here it says, when I entered the residence, the female was surrounded by blood on the floor. I observed a male laying on the bed. The male appeared to have been suffered from stab wounds and lacerations of the neck. Alright, so this one we could mark as, you know, it's just, we'll call it crime scene. Gotta shut it. And then this one right here. Appeared to be beyond... Okay, I went to the living room after identifying Hunter. Nunez advised me the female and male in the bedroom had blood on them and appeared to be beyond help. I walked out of the bedroom towards... Let's see... their backs, who appeared on the third floor. In the southeast bedroom, I saw two clothed females lying on a bed on their backs who appeared deceased. One female on the left side of the bed, in relation to the bedroom door, had an extreme amount of lacerations to her face and upper body, which made her unrecognizable. The other female had multiple lacerations on her upper body and some blood on her face. I walked to the far side of the bed to determine if the female on the right side was beyond help. So this one has, I saw a female's leg was off the edge of the bed and it had lividity. So that would be where, you know, like she's on the bed and that means her angle is sort of like towards the, off the bed, like, you know, like about 20-degree angle, then her leg's off. Or she could be straight and then her leg's just off, I guess. So that was one of the pieces of information. So let me get that. Alright. Saw it was clear. There's a poodle. Yeah. Because one of them talks about Ethan, too. Like where how his legs were off the edge or something. It was really more descriptive. Wait, I didn't mark that right. That should have been crime scene. All right. Upon entering the room, I observed a female laying supine. That's Xana on the floor next to a bed. According to they said it was Kaylee, but it wasn't. This female was likely Kaylee. No, it was Xana. Also lived at 1122. Somebody got angry at me for correcting it and reading it the way I wanted to read it. They got angry that I didn't want to read it with that. It has to be a Kohberger that would care. No, Gray, you got to say it right. It was Kaylee. Don't fix it for him. He say it was Kaylee. Well, it wasn't Kaylee though. You know, it's on the second floor, on the floor, and there's a male in a bed next to her. This female was likely Xana. That's how I'm going to read it. Also lived at 1122 King Road. I observed dried blood surrounding Xana's body and signs of cutting trauma to her face. Xana was covered in so much blood I wasn't able to immediately discern where any additional injuries would have likely been. Xana was apparently deceased due to her pale skin color, rigid body tone, and apparent blood loss. On the bed in the same room, I observed let's see, then it says I observed Kaylee. What is this? It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, no, that's right. It says, on the bed in the same room that I had observed Xana in, I observed a male lying supine on the bed. So they were both on their backs. I think every single victim was on their back. According to Dylan, the male was likely Ethan Chapin. Said Ethan was commonly at the residence. I observed bloody covering portions of Ethan's legs surrounding his body into the bed sheets and drops of blood on the wall near Ethan's head. As I backed out of the room, Hunter showed me a kitchen knife and said he had it in his possession. I told him to leave the knife and go back down the stairs to the front entrance. Let's see. And then they go upstairs, I guess. On the third floor, Warner and I found two additional, apparently deceased females, both laying on their back on the bed. This bedroom was on the southwest corner of the third floor. According to Dylan, these two females were likely Xana and Kernodle and Madison Mogen. I mean, what the hell was... Dylan was just totally out of it to say that. Unless she thought that was Kaylee that ran downstairs and then just kind of put that together like that. I don't know where she was coming up with that. One female showed an apparent traumatic injury to her face due to the basic facial structure being unrecognizable. Both females showed very pale skin. Both females were covered in dried blood and apparently deceased. After the residence was deemed safe, OFC Warner and I exited the residence. All right, that's another one. Come on, you guys, we need those last 6 channel memberships. Or was it 7? It was 7. That's right. Okay. How about the next one here? Well, everybody knows it's Xana. I don't know why she would think that was Kaylee, though. Why would Xana be up in Madison's room and Kaylee down in with Hunter? I mean, I don't know. Maybe because she did think at one point that Kaylee was running down the stairs, but she didn't see it. She just thought that. On 11/13/2022, at about 12 hours, I responded. That's about footprints. Yep, that's not one. How about this one? No. I don't know what other document. I'm sure there's more that have more descriptions. Maybe that one. Because there was one that said that Ethan's legs both were off the edge of the bed. Here's Gilbertson mentioned here at the crime scene. Or he was called. I then went up to the stairs and located a deceased female on the floor and a male in the bed in the west bedroom on the second floor. I climbed the stairs to the third floor and located 2 deceased females on the southeast bedroom. They were both in the bed. I don't know. I want to know where the document was. I should have been marking them as I was going through them. But I was just trying to get through as many as I could. What about that one? Those are all the photos they took. At least one set of them. Anyways, maybe we'll just field questions. My brain's just out of it. Where's Moscow? Anybody have any questions? Yesterday, I thought that it was interesting stuff yesterday with that person that saw, a person walking. It was kind of odd, but right over there. I think it was from this street right here over to Boyd Avenue to Blake Avenue, and then there's a little path, and then that goes right back here, and then right to the residence. So it could have been Kohberger. They said it was a white sedan parked there, like in June or July. Yep. Do we have any coffees tonight? Hey, we do have a couple in here. Let's see, we got one from Stacy. Hey, thanks, Stacy. And then we got one from Lisa Valenzuela. Oh, wow. Well, there you go. She got me a bucket of coffee. And then, let's see. Anne said, thank you again for covering my brother Simon's case, New Zealand. Oh, yeah. Still no justice, unfortunately. Remember that crazy case we covered in New Zealand? But keep hoping for the day where my family and I can deliver stinging victim impact statements like what we delivered so beautifully, or what was delivered so beautifully in Moscow, Idaho victims. And then, always appreciate your work. That's what Stacy said. And Lisa said, you're better than a stick in the eye. God, I can't believe she would write something like that. You're better than a stick in the eye. That's what Lisa Valenzuela wrote to me. Can you believe that? Ugh. Yeah. Now, remember that was that crazy case in New Zealand. It was at like a workplace, and yeah, there was blood. I mean, I don't remember all the details of it. Yeah, she didn't actually write better than a stick in the eye. She didn't write anything, so I thought I'd fill it in with something she probably thinks. Thanks, Dirk Bike Pastrana. And I have ordered a bunch of stuff in the FOIA request. All right. I have ordered stuff in the, a bunch of, I'm attempting to get stuff. All right. We'll see what happens. The tan car was green. No, it was lime green. Yeah, the tan car was lime green. It was actually a Elantra missing its front plate. And it was the lighting turned the lime green into a tan car with the surveillance. I mean, these people are crazy, man. Have you guys ever seen the spin engine in greater effect than the Kohberger nut jobs are today? Wow, the stuff, the mental gymnastics that these clowns have to come up with. And some of them are feeling bad for him. He doesn't even have a chance to appeal. Well, don't you think that means he did it, for God's sakes? Kohberger was trying to save his life. He can't appeal because he gave up the right to appeal, but he still can, but it's not likely going to work because he said he wasn't going to appeal. There's nobody in the world that's innocent would ever take a plea deal that he got. It's the worst he could possibly get in a plea deal. I mean, nobody would plead and then get death. He got the next worst thing. He has no chance of getting out. Brian Schmoberger, we should start calling him. I like that. Brian Schmoberger. Let's see, maybe a close second for Karen Reed. He was doomed either way he went. It was a tan lime green SUV sedan convertible. Yeah, it was everything. It was basically a transformer vehicle driving by, but I think we figured it all out pretty well. I think that the guy walking through the back parking lot at 350-ish, 350 of the 500 Queen, there's a guy walking right here at 350. He probably gets into a vehicle over here, and then he drives by the DoorDash driver who was walking down here. Maybe she was all the way down here, right? And so that's at like 3:51 in 30 seconds or so. Then he drives out like this, and at 3:52:30 or whatever, right in this area, his car is spotted. He goes this way. So maybe he lives back up in here or something. Who knows? But that would explain one of the two sightings on that are in a row going south. See, that's something that's always bugged me. I told you guys. There's a 351 and a 352. The car goes south. Well, it can't be both because it never went north to go south again. And you can't drive all the way around in a minute. So that means one of those cars was not Kohberger's, and I said that. And now it seems likely that the tan vehicle was actually the guy walking through here because the timing's it's perfect. Gets in a car, then leaves, and then she walks back to her car back here. So she first pulls in the DoorDash driver over here at like 3:40, 3:40, let's just say. She said about 15 minutes, could have been 20. She parks there, gets out, walks around, looks for the address because the light on the building where she's parked, she can't see. So she goes around, walks around, then she walks back, gets in her car, and then moves it back where Google Maps told her to park was back here. But then she looked down and saw that there was the parking, this little spot here. So then she got out of her car and started walking again. And that's right when the tan car drives by. So she's walking, maybe she's down in here. And then, a couple of minutes later, a minute later, she gets back up here again, sits in her car for a couple of minutes, then heads down here again. And then right when Kohberger's car is around here, she comes around and parks right there. Then Kohberger makes his way around and drives slowly. He's seeing that there's lights on and activity. So then he drives around and then he passes her and then he comes out over here. So that's what I was describing yesterday. It seems like it really puts it all together, and it might not be that, but I'm using the facts of the case to come up with something rational. That there's a guy on surveillance walking right over here at like 350 something. Right back through here, and he's heading up like this. And then all of a sudden there's a car that passes her. So doesn't that seem reasonably likely that that's who that was? Yeah, so don't forget to send in super chats with your questions. And we need to get we need a few more so I can buy those 5 memberships. Yeah, we need another 6, I think. An educated deduction, as it were. That's right. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but this is how I do the cases, and that's why we're accurate a lot, because we just kind of try to make observations and deductions based on factual elements that exist. And if you don't do that, you're going to be lost. You can't just... Gray, that's what psychics are for, you bastard. Did she meet Xana? No. She said she left the DoorDash at the door. And then she got back in her car and left. And I guarantee you the key fob sound is hers. Oh, look at that. Susan Pritchard. Hey, we only need one more now, you guys. Who's going to do it? Who's going to get the one channel membership? Who's going to get the channel membership? Who's going to get the one channel membership? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Stick in the proverbial Kohberger eye. That's right. That's exactly right. You know what? I mean, put a 1 if you've just sort of recently started following my channel after all these years. I always find that odd. It's like, man, we've just been nailing this case the whole time, and it's like they were hiding us or something. YouTube. Really weird. Strange stuff. Wow, look at all the ones there.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker.
Oh boy. Did it go in there? There we go. All right. Look at that, you guys. Thank you. Thanks up there to Dirtbike Pastrana and Susan Pritchard and CR as usual up there. Got a bunch of memberships, 10 I think. Well, there you go. Yeah, isn't that wild? All these people that have never even seen my channel. You know, I've been on Court TV many times. I make these videos that should have all got 100,000 views, each of them. And they'll get like 8. You know, and you look at them and you just go, how is that video only getting 8,000 views? It's literally a factual video that absolutely proves a specific element. And it's just weird, I gotta tell you. Weird stuff. I think here's what I would say. I'm going to tell you that if my channel was the most popular case channel to follow for this case, there would have been almost very few Kohbergers out there. There would have been very few of them. Because we've actually absolutely nailed Kohberger the entire time where he's locked in. He couldn't get out of it since the beginning. And it's really bizarre how it just kind of, how it even lingered around where people go, well, I'm not sure, Gray. I'm just not sure. How come? Have you been here or what? What's going on? Hey, thanks, Dixie Hippie and Kelly the Wise Lady H of something. Lady Hoff. Ask me anything, you guys. Come on, go ahead. Ask me anything about this case. That's knowable. You said it. Factual people want stories and speculation. Yeah, that's the reality. But here's what I should do, you guys. I should cover the cases exactly the same way, but pretend I'm a psychic. I'll wear the little Swami hat and everything, and I'll have a crystal ball sitting in front of me, and we'll just all pretend that the information that I'm coming up with is from psychic. Who interviewed you? Well, usually it's Vinny, but he's on vacation, so he's it was some lady, but I couldn't see the screen. It was completely grayed out. Do you think he will open up? I think at some point Kohberger will cut a deal for millions of dollars for his family to, and the special will be called "If I Did It." If I did it, this is what oh my God. Let's see. Did they find any? I really do think he'll get millions of dollars for his family, though. I mean, don't you think a network, it's worth that to them? They'll pay him millions. Because that will make millions in ad revenue. That'll be like the Super Bowl, for God's sakes. Yep. You did it too. Not the OJ book again. Yeah, let's see. BK, I'm innocent. I only said guilty. Right, I'm innocent, but I said I won't even appeal. Yeah, that should tell. I always tell people the part about him accepting no appeals is should be the clincher for anybody that was had lingering doubt. I could, if he said, yeah, I'll plead guilty, I've got appeals and everything, his Kohberger people would have something to chew on. But he said he was willing to save his own life to give up appeals, and that's a absolutely stunning blow to the Kohbergers, because that must tell them that he is the killer at that point, because there isn't a soul on the planet Earth that would essentially do a Alford plea and not have a chance at appealing. I mean, come on. No way. Hey, Lillian. Hey, you should come on, Lillian. I got the links at the top of the chat up there. Just like old times. Nobody else comes on, so. Done on this case. I didn't get involved in the case till March, but you helped me with clarity. Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, if you watch all of my Elantra videos and just the whole timeline, that's really all that matters, to be honest with you. It's like, the timeline, the knife sheath, the Elantra. Let me comb my hair. What the hell? Anyways, I got to go use the restroom really quick. Yes, we don't just sit here and pee into a jar, okay? We actually have to go to the bathroom.
Stupid is being nice. You're an absolute moron.
Yeah, everybody loves that song. I only had 60 people leave during that one. Not bad, not bad at all. All right. Oh, you guys can hear that? Oh, shit. That wasn't really a toilet, you guys. It's a sound effect. Oh, you should have left then. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Recently started watching you. Hey. Let's see. Recently started watching you, so I just watched someone reviewing the new details, and I kind of discovered that one of reports swapped Katie and Xana's names. Katie, which I think created a lot of rumors, like Xana's blood on the third floor rumor. Oh yeah, maybe. Okinawa song. Yeah, I need more information. Well, it's not playing anymore, Atlanta Food Reviews. You must be on Rewind. Catch up to the rest of the world. You ever seen any more people complain in your life than people on YouTube? Like, you just do something and they just feel like they just get to go out and trash something. Hey, maybe if I just played this one. I like this one better. No, you click the link on StreamYard up there, Lillian. I like this one a lot. Right? Right? We play this one all the time. Probably better than Okinawa. Right. This is weird, this camera. Like, it follows me around. It's really kind of weird. You guys see this? Look at this. I have a... Well, no, that's over there. Never mind. That's not an elevator music. That stuff's awesome. Yeah, it's a StreamYard link at the top. Do you need me to put the link in the chat or something? Or so as I walked down the road, I looked back and knew that I had to leave that case behind. Yeah. That's what it sounds like. As I walked down the street. Yeah, let's play it. Let me read her statement. So as I walked down the road, I looked back and knew that I had to leave that case behind. Yeah. There you go, there you go, there you go. Hey, thanks, Mel. Yeah, I think that is what he was thinking. Perfect. Let's see. All right, there's Lillian. Look at that. Let's add her to the stage.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, look at that. Lillian's here, everybody.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Just like the old days.
It's just like the old days.
How are you feeling?
I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hold on. We got to fix all this. Hold on a second. Let's see. Audio. Echo removal. Okay, my echo's gone.
Well, I guess is mine. Yeah, mine must be gone now.
Yeah, there you go. Does it sound good?
Okay, I'm trying to get this right.
So what you do is you have to, if you have the video open, you have to shut it down. Because
Okay.
you're playing in there.
You're in the okay. Well, anyway, Gray, we're hanging in. Nancy gets operated on next week. And that's why I'm going to be very busy. We've been very busy. But getting back to this show, you had it nailed.
Yes, you did.
You really did.
Was that Nancy in the background?
Yeah, that's Nancy, of course. Of
Who
course.
Who else would it be? Are you cheating on her?
No, 35 years in August, and I'm going to be the nurse here. So, listen, Gray, you nailed it, this case. You nailed it. But you know what? I have to say, I think all of us were a little shocked that the damage and the brutality that he did with that short amount of time. And I'll tell you what, Gray, we know he rode around there 23 times, right? Now,
yeah, that's what they say. Well, the thing is, here's the thing. You know, nobody's asked this yet, but I'd like to have Bill Thompson be asked. What the 23 times when the vehicle was in the area, was it within 100 meters? Or
I don't know.
Because that's what the dateline said, but the documents said it utilized the same resources as 1122 King Road. It never mentions how close it is. So I'm not sure. Now we can't.
He didn't. Yeah, he didn't say that. But you know, to me, I still think somewhere along the line, how he got to that particular house, and did he meet Xana and Maddie in that vegan restaurant, or somehow he erased a lot of stuff, and they know that. But for him to just pick that house with all those kids in there, and it just boggles my mind. And
there's even not even a connection, they say.
No, that's what they're saying.
So that means he just basically stalked the residence, and he kept stalking it, and they didn't know, and he was observing, and then one night he decided to do his killing. I mean, that's the weird part. It's it's just out of nowhere. That's what serial killers do. You know?
Yeah. Well, you know what, Gray? This kids need to always lock their doors, put blinds up, when you're a young kid, I guess on campus, you're not thinking anything like that's ever going to happen.
Right.
You know, but God, I lock up like Fort Knox, and you got to cover your windows. You can't let people peek in. And Kaylee even told a friend that she thought somebody was watching her taking her dog out, and nobody knows. It could have been him, maybe it wasn't, but I'll tell you what, for him to have the guts, or not guts, just the, I guess, insanity to, you have about 4 or 5 cars, Ethan's Jeep out front, and he still went in there because he was bound and determined he was going to kill somebody. And then, like, they said, well, we don't know if he was going to kill all them. Well, he didn't expect Ethan to be there, and he didn't expect Kaylee to be there. And what do you think, Gray, that they're saying that she was unrecognizable? Do you think?
Yeah, he hit her in the face, and he stabbed her in the face multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, what Bill Thompson said today, though, was that they do think he targeted either Kaylee or Maddie upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that.
I've always thought it was Maddie because where you can walk around there, you can see right into Madison's window.
Yes, you can.
Right there.
Yeah, and that camera you have, my God, that thing's awesome.
Yeah, that 360 one.
Oh yeah, but you know, this is like the second. Well, you've done a lot of cases, but you know, with Abby and Libby, then this one, you nailed it with the car going around and around and around. And for him to be such a smart kid, young guy, he made some dumb mistakes, and I'm glad he did.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have driven. First of all, one of the main things is he shouldn't have driven his car around.
Yeah.
He should have rented a car or something.
Yeah.
You know, a certain kind, driven around. Nobody, you know, just a nondescript kind of car, maybe.
Right.
So you couldn't do something with a license plate, and it's not his. Now, renting a car is kind of dumb if they can figure out exactly what make and model, and then say he rented a car, and then it leads back to. I mean, I don't know. He should have just parked his car somewhere and walked over there.
Yeah, well, you know what? Kaylee's sister was, I mean, she was awesome. I mean,
she got to him.
She did get to him, I think, but he sat there like a mannequin. He didn't hardly move.
Yeah.
But you could see his, maybe 2 times I noticed he was sort of like, I think she did get to him, but I was surprised to see Dylan get up there, and that
was great. I think she showed so much guts.
She did
to get up there, because she and Bethany have been absolutely terrorized by the non-true crime community.
Right,
they're in the true crime community, but
they were trashed.
They're just a band of merry idiots, is what they are. So they went out and just sat there and accused Bethany and Dylan for.
Yeah, I know that's a shame.
And I hope to God that people out there stored these videos, because one YouTuber removed them all really quick.
Yeah,
because they have a huge lawsuit against them easily.
Well, you know, Gray, they're kids. They were what, 19 at the time she was. These kids were frightened. They were frightened, and when I saw her talk, she's going to have trouble. This is never going to leave them. And the police officers, they never saw anything like that in Idaho. These kids were massacred. We all knew they were stabbed, but my God, not butchered up like that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was on Court TV tonight, and that's what I said. They said,
"Were you on Court TV again?"
Yeah, it said, "What's something that stuck out?" And I said, "Well, I don't know what words I used, but it was like the ferocity which Kohberger attacked the 2 girls that fought back.
Yes.
Ethan and Madison really, Madison may have had, just barely was awake.
Yeah, that poor kid. Yep, all of them. But the 2 that fought back,
They got
Xana
pummeled.
and Maddie, boy, did they get it. And poor Ethan, he probably didn't even barely woke up too.
Yeah, I'm sure he
and I
woke up.
hope he didn't, Greg.
I bet he woke up just to like he got punctured and then he wakes up, but then he passed out kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like you would have to wake up or something, but maybe not. You know, I hope he was sort of like I said, my I used to have my younger brother, when he would sleep, we'd wake him up and then he wouldn't remember he was woke up the next day. So because he was out of it when we woke him up in the middle of the night. So that's what you would hope that maybe Madison and
I hope so, Gray.
I do.
I hope so, because like I said, we all knew they were stabbed, but my God, what those two kids, all of them, but Kaylee and Xana, what they went with, the fear and the terror.
Yeah, no,
Poor dad.
Yeah.
It makes you think of Abby and Libby a little bit. Like
it does.
It does. And the difference is they had to go. I mean, Abby and Libby at 13 and 14 years old had to know, like, for 15 or 20 minutes, be sitting walking, knowing that this person's, you know, I think like Xana and Kaylee were, it was like an instantly fighting for your life, and then, you know, they're probably killed within less than a minute, both of them.
It's just absolutely horrible. But everything that you did with the travel, him going around, I mean, it is just really good reporting.
But it was accurate and truthful.
And and I just feel so sorry for the family. I really, really do.
Maddie's father broke my heart.
Maddie's father did.
The biological one who said if he could get him in the woods for 5 minutes. That was good.
I'm sure. I mean, not the stepdad, her real father. He was tore up.
Gosh.
But
I thought all of them were good. I couldn't be like I think it was Xana's, I don't know,
grandmother.
What that lady was. Yeah, she was saying something like she would forgive him, and like if you want to talk and stuff. I can't. I couldn't be like I want to punch him in the face with a bat.
I couldn't forgive. I mean, I get the premise. Yes, in order to go on, the people have to forgive, because you can't keep that hate inside you.
I would just say I don't like the word forgive for that. I want to just say I'm going to forget you.
There you go. There you go.
Moving on, I'm forgetting you, though. I'm committed to forgetting you.
Well, you know what, Gray? He's allowed to have $100. He can get a tablet, and he can have a TV in there, and that's why the Goncalves didn't want that. They wanted the death penalty. But, you know, between 20 years of wrangling back and forth with that and appeals. See, if you're going to do the death penalty and you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, then you just do it next week. You're done. I'm sorry, because some of these he would go out there and do it again.
I think the standard should be higher, though. Than like, I think there has to be certain evidence produced, because we've seen these people on death row be exonerated off of DNA.
Oh, sure.
They were found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by somebody, and they didn't even do it. So at that point, our country's executed innocent people.
Yes, and I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that.
I believe in the death penalty, but I just think it should be like more rare and with specific evidentiary facts that make it so that it 100%, you know, it's not just reasonable, it's 100% that person.
Yes, and I agree with that, because you know, I'm not for putting anybody to death, but I mean, think about this. They did everything right. They were drinking, they took an Uber home, they were in their own beds, and he just comes right in.
Yeah, it was a normal night, just totally normal night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he picked that time too because he was about to go home. The
Right.
Thanksgiving weekend, people were leaving.
Yep.
He was
Yep.
off, and
Well, I'll tell you, though this will be another one like Libby and Abby will go in the books for one of the most horrendous. They're all horrendous, but Libby and Abby will never be out of my mind, and this case will never leave your mind because of everything that went with it, and him thinking he was so cool or so above it. He was going to school and he was smart, and all that schooling and all the brains he did had, he could have done good. But no, he I don't know, Gray. I don't know, like she called him a psychopath, but I think he's got more to him than that even. He's just, I don't know. He's
like evil. He's evil. So Olivia is the name of Kaylee's sister. Who did
Right.
that amazing speech.
Yes.
It's spelled ALIVE.
Yeah.
See, what she did was so amazing because what she did was, I said it on the show earlier, but since you came in late, I'll tell you. It was like she became exactly the person that Kohberger hates the most.
Yes.
Like, she's
Yes.
a beautiful woman. who's
Yep.
Up there, just
Pushing every button.
Just hammering him home. She's smart.
Yep.
And all that stuff, and just everything she said was emasculating him.
Yes.
And he was probably so angry, and the best part about it is he couldn't do a damn thing about it.
No.
Yeah.
She was absolutely awesome.
Several times when
I mean,
his jaw clenched.
Yeah, his jaw.
Yeah.
Nancy and I were watching, and a couple things like why did you? Where's the knife? Where's the clothes? Why November 13th? I mean, she was putting it to him. She really was.
For some reason, my favorite line was, "Now sit up straight."
Oh yeah, was that unreal?
That was so great. Like he's a little kid. Hey,
right. And oh my God, yeah, that was.
I wonder what made her think of saying that. For God's sake,
I know
that
she
put that one line in there is amazing.
Yeah.
I thought of that.
She was really, she knew what she wanted to say and she said it. But I just want to say that it's another case for you in the books, that you did an excellent job and did a lot of hard work on it, as you do with every
we see a lot of. I appreciate that. We got a lot of more information coming out, so I'll be still making videos.
Yeah, and a lot. Well, see now, I just want to, Gray. I just want to tell you this now, and the freaks. I don't want you to think I've been. I just moved on, but I have to get a biopsy, a breast biopsy. Nancy's got to get an ultrasound biopsy of her, but then she's got to get her knee next week, and I'm going to be taking care of her. So it's like I'm a little overwhelmed. And when we found this out, and I go to get the biopsy, and the machine broke down. I would have had it last Friday, but now I got to wait till the end of August, and I'm hoping everything's okay. Excuse me?
I think it's just garbage how long they make you wait.
Yeah, and I mean, Gray, I'm 75 years old.
You missed an appointment because the machine's broken, and they make you wait another.
Yeah, well, they tell me to call every day. I'm 75 years old, never had a breast biopsy in my life. So now I got to wait, and I'm worried about Nancy, and I'm going to be taking care of her. Then she's got to get an ultrasound of her breast. I'm like, we're having too much fun over here at Shady Pines. So
well, you guys make sure to come back on the show, though.
Oh yeah, I will. It's just that I feel a little overwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've been listening.
We'll put out the positive vibes for you.
Yeah. Will you please, freaks, put out the positive vibes?
The prayer hands for.
Yeah.
Well, we call her Lillian. That's not her actual name. But
right. That's not my actual name. but I answer to anything. But Gray, you
Especially spaghetti.
yeah, you did a great job, and a lot of the things that came out, you called it, and my heart goes out to the families, and unfortunately, you never you'll never get over doing a case, because there's always somebody out there thinking they can beat the system and get away with this kind of stuff. And they need to have more mental hospitals functioning and for people.
Yeah.
But, Greg.
And easier to be put into one. That's the hard part nowadays, to be put into one of those places.
Yeah. There's I guess there's just, I don't know, a lot of people that don't want their family members, but the family, remember early on in this trial, Gray, when he threw all his parents' pots and pans out because they were cooking other food in the pots and pans. Now, who does that? Who does that? Because he's a vegan. Why didn't he get his own plate and get his own pot? You know what I mean? That's what they brought out. They had to know, Gray, that he was maybe smart, but there was something wrong with him. The sister knew it.
Yeah.
The sister knew it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was on one of those specials. I'm now starting, I have to see other people, like the documents or law enforcement now, because I was trusting what these specials and the books were putting out, because they had these inside sources, and it seems like a lot of that stuff turned out not to be true.
Well, it might not be. Who knows? But I mean, but all we can do is get the information on the TV or from what you put out.
Yeah.
And so I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But, I mean, even because they just said that Papa Rogers isn't connected, but how do we know he isn't? I mean, they might not have been able to find a connection, but what if he used a VPN to set up the whole thing, was going through this, and they can't trace it back to him, so they just say, well, we can't connect.
Yeah, well, right, that's just like I say. He had to know, to me, he had to know of these girls somehow, some way, because man, did he zone in on that house. And they're so tight around there, those homes, and he picks the one with 4. They were all pretty kids. And like I said, Ethan was, and I mean, to me, he somehow met up with them somehow, some way. I don't know, just like you and I said before, it hasn't come out yet. But in Libby and Abby, what's his face that's in jail?
Oh, yeah.
We always said there was a connection. Yep.
Fine, yeah.
So
we'll see about that later.
Yeah, we sure will. Well, listen, it was good. Nancy, say goodbye to Gray. I'm going to get ready and hang up.
All right. Talk
So,
to you later.
Here she called you curmudgeon.
Yeah. Curmudgeon.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got to keep me calm.
That's right.
So just say some prayers, Gray, that everything goes well.
It's all going to be well.
She's going to be bionic soon. Me too. God, we got new hips, new knees.
You got to have the sound effect though when you're walking, like the
Oh God, I'm telling you. Hey, listen, old age is not for sissies. Okay, old age is not for sissies, freaks. So listen, it was good talking to you.
You too.
Yeah, it does, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
Okay, I tried to call you, Gray, on that number when you called here. I couldn't get anything.
Oh, weird. No, I lost my number. No, you called me. Remember, you called me to tell me that they arrested Kohberger.
Yeah, but guess what? I tried to call you yesterday.
I'm not arrested Kohberger, that he was pleading guilty. That's what you
said. Well, I tried to call you back yesterday, I think it was, and it didn't go through, so I canceled. So you'll have to call me back and I'll have to put it in again.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well,
so look, I'm back in bedrock when it comes to all this stuff. This I can't handle it, all this stuff. So anyway,
Yeah.
good,
All right.
good
Well,
job. Good job. And freaks, was good talking to you.
all right. Have a good one.
See you, Greg.
Safe. See you.
Say hi to your wife. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. See you. All right, Lillian and Nancy. They're such a cool little team. And there's the camera moving around on its own again. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, remember that? The bionic eye that would go. Can you please wear the head wrap and do a crystal ball reading? Let's see.
Stupid is being nice. You're an absolute
Here it is.
moron.
Stupid, stupid, man. There it is. I said, oh my God, I said it. Mon. Did you hear me? I said mon and it said mon. What mon means, I don't know, but I predicted it would say mon. Let's do it again. At a hut. Don't move. Stupid. Gilligan, little buddy. Skipper. Oh, man. Yes, what that told me was, it said, these things don't work, these spirit boxes, okay? That's what the spirit box told me. They don't work. I have to tell you that the spirit box industry on YouTube is the dumbest thing in the history of the planet. There's literally people out there that watch these spirit box people and pretend that they are real. And they're using a freaking app on their phone. Shouldn't that tell you something? What, this company made a deal with spirits? And let me ask you something. That was pretty good. Look at so. You have this voice that you hear all the time. Listen to this. This is what it sounds like every time you listen to these spirit box people. Listen. No, not that. This one right here. So you see how you have these weird sounds. Why doesn't, I know this sounds crazy, one of the rogue spirits out there come on and say, his name is Jim. He lives at 302 Northeast 87th Avenue. You know, it's like, oh, thank you. Wow, for once, one of these spirits talked to me without just a fragment. I mean, why is it always a fragment of a spirit voice? Wow, that's crazy. Those damn spirits always playing games with everybody. You'd think they would just tell you something, for God's sakes. Yeah, I don't know who that is. The only real psychic. Karnak, he wasn't a psychic either. He sucked. I think he followed Maddie from the Mad Greek, and that's how he found... I don't think so. You know what I think? I think he followed some people from the pool party. He knew where they lived. After they left the pool party, he went over there, and he realized that little spot there had a bunch of houses with a bunch of girls in them. And then he started stalking, and he realized that where the 1122 King Road was a perfect place with that little back parking lot. And he would sit and watch them and then picked them. That's what I think. Okay. Let's see. Donating for the crystal ball. Should I get one? So whatever I'll do, we'll work through a case sometime, right? And at the end of the show, I'll put on a Swami hat and a crystal ball, and I'll repeat all of the things that we've figured out likely happened, and I'll couch it as if I gleaned it from the spiritual world out there of some sort. And then we'll put it out there, and then later I can tell people, look, see? Gray said it before the... I mean, if I was a psychic, I would be smoking the other psychics out there. I'm just not. So that's the thing. I just come up with it before the psychic does. They probably watch my channel. Oh, that's right. That's right. Karnak, yeah, he was pretty funny. I like that when Carson would do that with his stupid cards or something. He'd pull out, he did that too. I think, yeah. But I remember him with his hat on. Okay, I get it. What you're saying. The use of I forgot who that was when I read it. Karnak the Magnificent. Is that it? Yeah. Yeah. Remember when late night comics were actually funny? Then they turned into these political hacks every night. Just horrendous, not even funny at all. Just, I mean, unbelievable. They just ruined late night comedy. Those late night talk shows got destroyed. Let's see, I got your channel on with my neighbors over, making them watch. Oh, really? Well, hey, dirt bike Pastrana's neighbors. How's it going out there? I don't know where you are, but hopefully you're having a good time. But I think I'm pretty much just about done here, you guys. It's 10:23 my time, probably 1 something for some of you, 1:23 on the East Coast. Oh, you're in Boise? Oh, cool. Have you watched my channel this whole time? Why do you think Olivia said, why November 13th? Yeah, there was something about November 13th in the documents somewhere. Somewhere I read there was something related to that. I don't remember what that was. Oh yeah, for 2 years. Cool. Oh, it usually says Justin Modo. Oh, okay. Yeah, isn't that crazy, these stupid at names? Yeah, I'm on the West Coast. Yep. I live in Oregon, as you would say, Oregon. Okay, but let me just help you guys out. It's Oregon. It's Oregon, like this, like Oregon. Orygin almost. Oregon. It's not Oregon. It's not. What are some of the other ones they say? Well, you lived in West Lynn for a couple of years. Yeah, that's a nice place. You lived in Bend. I love Bend. Is one of the coolest places in Oregon. Central Oregon. I love it out there. Just amazing with the lava rock and just it's just totally different, completely different environment. Oregon has like a ton of climates or climate zones or whatever, or what do you call those? I don't know. Like Central Oregon's more of a desert, and then we've got the rainforest. Like I think like 7 or 8 different. You do? You say Oregon? Nice. Juju Bean said it right. Yeah, that's why it's hard for me to get to crimes. I've been to Idaho 3 times. Wait, 3 times now. I went there in the summer of 2023, and then I went there in December of 2023, right before they tore it down. And that's where I got that really good. I wish I had, had my X5, my Insta360 X5, because it's so much clearer. It's 8K. Those are 4K, so it's double clear. Where I wish I had had that at the time. Oh yeah. Anybody in here live in Naples, Florida? Yeah. Yeah. Yahats. I can say it. Yeah, chats. Yeah, chats. It says yeah, chats. Yeah. Let's see. I'm in South Texas, hot, miserable, and It's been really hot over here. Every day I try to do this. I'm walking, just to, sitting around doing this crap for a while. You just you're not moving enough. So I walk a lot. I usually do 4 miles a day or something. Like today I did 4, or what am I at? 11,275 steps, I guess. And it's been really hot out there. So what I do is I get a bottle of water, take about I don't know, a quarter of the water out, and then put these little packets of what do you call that? Like electrolytes. And then I put the lid back on, then I freeze it. And then when I start walking, it's melting as I'm walking. And then I can drink really cold water the whole time. So that works pretty good. There's even a little bit of the ice cube left when I get back to the house. Yeah. So anyways, I think that's going to do it tonight, you guys. I appreciate everybody being here and helping the channel out, watching, share the video, subscribe. We got to the goal. So make sure if you show up on the last day of the month here, we have our donation night for the first hour where we have one last push and then donate money to various charities out there, and then we'll do a regular show too. Hey, thanks, Ace Griffey. They said, "Love your channel, Gray." See that? Some people actually like my channel. Gray, if you just wouldn't be so mean all the time. I will listen to this, Gray. What? Freezing the water? Great show again. Your sense of humor is what kept me around. Oh, yeah? Cool. Yeah. I mean, I try to be funny sometimes. Some nights I'm just not in a really good mood. I'm sure none of you have noticed that at all. Sometimes I'm in a good mood for part of the show, and then I'm not in for part of the show. I'm just like a regular person, but I do 7 days a week shows, so, Yeah, people do have thin skin. They immediately, like earlier, the guy said, see, this is what I get. This is what I don't understand. Earlier in the show, the guy goes, man, this is too long, this music. This music is, I don't want to listen to this anymore. And then I said, yeah, see how these people always complain? Then he came back on and said, I gave you one more chance, Gray. I'm not coming back again. You're so rude. But it's like, well, wasn't your comment rude too, though? I mean, wasn't your comment? See, it's like it's called passive aggressive. You get people that make comments, and then when you respond back to them, they blame you as if they didn't say anything. It's just so weird. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care if people left during the music. It doesn't bother me. I mean, if you're that shallow, like, oh, wow, the guy's going to the bathroom, he's playing music I don't like, I'm leaving. What a joke. I don't really do NFL, to be honest with you. I actually don't even follow it. I do NBA. I'm an NBA basketball. I also follow the Timbers, but football to me is too slow, You're unsubscribed? No catheter? Unsubscribed. Even in a bad mood, you're still better than the stick in the eye. Oh, there you go. See, she did say that. Yeah, I would say, I'm a Portland Trailblazer fan, but, Jokic is probably the best. He's the best player in the NBA, But, the thing is, I'm not, pumped. Like, Damian Lillard, he's a Portland Trailblazer, and, he left, and then we've just got him back on the team, but he's not going to play this next year because he's got the Achilles injury. But I hated the way, here's the thing. Lillard had these amazing games where you just go, oh, that's incredible, man. Jesus, look at, he made like a 40-footer. Oh, he made 9 threes, 10 threes. Oh my God. But it just, the style of play sucks. You know, you got a guy that dribbles. If he has to pass, oh shit, he passes, and then he starts clapping for the ball back again, and then he jacks it up. And the only time anybody else gets the ball is when he doesn't have a shot. And I can't stand that. I like free movement style where the ball's moving around, everybody's cutting, and boom, boom, boom. And that's how they've been playing. The last year, they played that way, and they started winning. And now Steph Curry's nowhere near the GOAT. He's not even close, man. He's not even, if you look at him on that list that just came out, he's not even in the top 20. He's a great shooter. And, he's a good cutter and stuff like that, but he's not the GOAT of anything. Yeah, I mean, he's a good player for sure. I'd put him in the top 100, top 50 probably, something like that. No. See, a lot of the younger people, they always pick Jordan and stuff like that. And you know what's crazy is I think if I did a list, I would say Wilt Chamberlain was the most dominant player and skillful player. Nobody even knows. He is absolutely the best. All right. And then you've got people like Bird and Magic Johnson, Magic Johnson is so underrated by people, it's sick. It's actually embarrassing how underrated people make Magic Johnson. He made everybody way better on the team. So you got Magic Johnson, Bird, and then you can start talking about people like Jordan. He's right there, and then Shaq, you got Shaq and Jordan and right in that area. And it just kind of goes on and on from there. But Wilt Chamberlain, I just go look at what that guy did. He averaged 50 one year. And when he came back, like he was going to try playing when he was 50 again. He was in such great shape. And he was way stronger than everybody, an incredible athlete. He was totally different. Yeah, I don't really care about the rings and shit like that. That's just, Jordan had Pippen and a really good supporting cast around. I think if I was ever going to start a team, I would start with Magic Johnson. That'd be the first player of anybody that's ever played. I would take him to be the first pick. And then later I would want Bird on my team. And then those two they're incredible. And then I'd probably want Jordan. So it'd be like Bird, Magic, like the best team that you come up with would be like Bird at point guard. Magic Johnson at point guard, Bird at small forward, Michael Jordan at off guard. The power forward, maybe you'd put somebody like, you might think of somebody like Karl Malone, but and then center Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, my God, what a freaking that would be the most incredible team. And that's why the dream team, the dream team that existed, there will never be a team anywhere near as good as that team ever to play. Okay. The dream team was absolutely it just happened to be during a time where some of the greatest players ever to play the game were playing. And they would smoke any of the teams that played now with, LeBron. Like, notice I didn't even mention LeBron. I don't like the guy. I mean, I don't like the way he plays. I don't like anything about it. It's weird. Like nobody even in the chat even threw out LeBron. You notice that? That was pretty cool. He just isn't. Yeah, Elijah was great. He's in that other tier though, like top 40-ish. But the one player I always tell people though, that if he was playing today would be the most famous player in the league, and that would be George Gervin. All right, George Gervin is a completely unique player that not a soul out there has a clue how just amazing that guy was, man. He did stuff you've never even... Rodman, give me a break. He did stuff you've never seen. He did finger rolls from like 15 feet and shots behind the back. I mean, just crazy. They used to call him the Iceman. He had these... He'd wear... In this one poster, they used to make posters, and he'd have the like silver basketballs, and he's just standing there, Iceman, and he really was. He just unbelievable. I like Jim Paxson a lot. Yeah, he was. I mean, he's not in this list though. I mean, he's nowhere near that. But if Jim Paxson was, Magic Johnson said that if Jim Paxson was on his team, he would score like 30 a game, because all Jim Paxson would do was cut back and forth, going around, moving, and Magic Johnson would have loved that. Layup after layup after layup after layup after layup. Wow, we turned into I might actually be starting a Blazer basketball channel, just sort of on the off time that I have with a friend of mine. So maybe if you guys want to go over there and sub over there, if we ever do that, that'd be cool. It might be starting up here. Nah, Tim Duncan, he's just... I don't know. He just isn't one of those guys, you know. Tim Duncan was great, but he's not one of those guys. You know, he's in the top 50, you know. Like if you go through the top 50, what was the one? The Bleacher Report. Let's see. Bleacher. I don't agree with a lot of their stuff though. Bleacher Report top 100. All right, here we go. Look at this is what they got here. So if you go all the way to the bottom, which that's where it would start. Hold on. So they have LeBron at number 2. Yeah, that's just garbage. And Jordan at 1. See, Jordan, LeBron, and then Kareem, Magic. I mean, the fact that Wilt's not any here makes them idiots. Okay. And then Shaq up there. I mean, Wilt is way better than Tim Duncan. Way better than Tim Duncan. And, you know, Larry Bird's up there. See, it's nice though that they put Magic Johnson here. This is in the realm where he should be. Nah, I don't have. I'm not going to go to red, gray, blues. I don't know. I don't have time. It's not. Doesn't do. It's not really. I'm. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll get back there. It's just Kobe at 11. There's Hakeem, 13 Durant, you know, Oscar Robertson. Where the hell is where's Wilt? Wilt was way better than let's see. Come on. They got him at 9. I mean, that's pretty good. That's garbage, though. I mean, that guy. And by the way, you know, like, you know how they always say that everybody now is way better athletes? It's just garbage. The 89-90 Blazers basketball team was just the most athletically and powerful. And they would kill the Indiana Pacers or the team that Oklahoma City that won this year. I mean, just would have smoked them with Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Terry Porter, Buck Williams, and Kevin Duckworth. Just would have smoked them. Can't stand that little art. Now, if you want to compare to the 70s, you know, you might have more of an argument because they were a little skinnier and stuff like that. But now he was never shut down by Wilt was never shut down by Russell. That's what's so funny. You guys actually think that. That's hilarious. He would score less points. He would score 50 on Russell, but he was never shut down by him. You got that completely wrong, man. Go look it up. Yeah, Lillard isn't the best Blazer ever. Not even close. Yeah, I don't, you know, see, Roy and Lillard are the same type of player. Ball dominant. You know, they throw him the ball, and they, you know, the best basketball players that have been Portland Trailblazers. First, number 1 is Clyde Drexler. Absolutely way better than Lillard would ever imagine. He took us to the World Championship finals twice. Then you had Bill Walton. I would put Bill Walton and then Arvydas Sabonis up there as being the best players, even though their longevity wasn't very long. And then you could start talking about Lillard and Roy and those kind of people. Drexler's the best we've ever had, though. It doesn't matter that Drexler scored a ton of points and made everybody else better too, because he didn't hold on to the ball all day. He would get it, pass it, and then played good defense. Lillard does not even play defense. He's terrible at it. And Clyde Drexler would absolute hustler, amazing dunker. I mean, it's not even close, I just can't stand it. Everybody that's sort of younger is like, oh, Lillard, he's so great. He's the greatest. And they cried when he got traded, and I was happy as hell, man. Finally, we're going to have a team where people are passing the ball around. Yeah, I wasn't one of the ones that was sad. I can tell you that. I appreciate him. And, I'm not upset that he's back. I just want him to accept his role as a sixth man coming off the bench. Well, then you didn't watch the right teams then, Mike, because Lillard is nowhere near Clyde Drexler. Yeah, not even close. He made nobody better. It was just all about him. When can I shoot next? When can I shoot next? When can I shoot next? Yeah, where is this thing? Let me find this one. Jerome Kersey dunk against Kareem. I mean, you guys got to see this. It's freaking crazy. Oh yeah, right here. Watch this. Watch this right here. See, this is the 89-90 Blazers. Look at the hustle you're going to see in this play right here. Watch this. Wow! Whoa! Does anybody even dunk like that these days, man? Watch Jerome in his face. Man, he just turned and dunked in Kareem's face so hard. You don't see dunks like that anymore, man. All right, watch this again. Watch this. Look at Jerome running back. Look at that. Oh yeah. Look at that. Oh God. He was Jerome. Out of all the Portland Trailblazers, Jerome Kersey was my top 2 favorite players. The guy that just did that dunk. He played like that hard every single time he played. Unbelievable. And so my top 5 Blazers of all time favorite, I would say Arvydas Sabonis, Drazen Petrovic, Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Maurice Lucas. I guess those are my top 5. And then, Dame. I liked watching Dame and stuff. I just don't like his game. But man, when you just watch that right there, have you ever seen a guy? That is the hard. He used to dunk as hard as he could on every single dunk. Sabonis, we actually drafted Arvydas Sabonis with Drazen Petrovic in 1986, and neither Drazen came over in 1990, and out of kindness, the Blazers traded him because they realized how talented he was, but he wasn't going to get to play very much with Clyde Drexler on the team, so they sent him to New Jersey, and he scored 22 points a game his last season, and then he died in a car accident on the Autobahn. It was just horrendous. He was just becoming the player. Everybody saw how great he was. Reggie Miller even said one time, they asked him, who's a player that if you had to make a 3-pointer to win a game, who would it be? And he goes, well, it would be Drazen Petrovic. That guy was... he really was. He was like a freaking a machine. Hey, good night, Sandy. He was a machine. Anyways. Yeah, and then we didn't get Sabonis until, God, it was like late 90s. He finally came over, and he already had 2 Achilles injuries, and he finally came here, and we were just, no, I think 94 actually he came over here. So it wasn't late night, but he came so much later, or maybe I don't remember exactly the year, to be honest with you. But if you go look at the old highlights of Arvydas Sabonis, he was absolutely incredible. I mean, the guy, when he was like 20 years old, he broke backboards with dunks. He could leap out of just his head was above the rim. Great passer, 3-point shooter. There's really almost nobody in the league like him at this point. Yeah. Yeah, remember the 2000 Blazers was one of the best teams ever assembled in the NBA. You had Scottie Pippen was on that team, if you can believe that. Arvydas Sabonis, Rasheed Wallace, Damon Stoudemire. Not that he's that great, but Deadlift Shrimp was on that team. Steve Smith was on that team. I mean, it was like loaded. I mean, that team, and it should have won the world championship. They got down 3-1 against the Lakers, and then they won game number on the road. I think it was they beat the Lakers, and it was 3-2. Then they went back to Los Angeles, and I thought it's weird. I'm not sure how it worked, but it went to game 7, and we had tied it up. We were down 3-1 and tied up the series. So we went to Portland. Then Los Angeles, or I think it was Los Angeles, we won. Then we went back to Portland and won. Then it was 3-3, and then we were up 15 points going into the fourth quarter against the Lakers, and we just started missing all the shots, apparently. That's what they say. I mean, I don't know, man. That seemed crazy. What do you mean, Warriors that just can't believe? What are you talking about? I was a Suns fan at the time. Oh, yeah. Remember when we beat you guys in 89-90? When we had, it was Hornacek. It was Hornacek over the timeline. He's going to drive, throws it up for 3. It's going to be short. Rebound, Buck Williams. That's how it went. That's the exact, I memorized the, Hornacek came, he shot up a shot, missed it, and we won the Western Conference Finals, and then we played the Detroit Pistons. The first game was very close, and then Detroit won right at the end. Game 2, we won in Detroit. And then we came back to Portland thinking, oh, man, we could win this thing. And we lost 3 straight in Portland. I actually went to the third of those where I got to see the Detroit Pistons win the world championship right in front of my face. When Vinnie Johnson hit a baseline jumper with 0.7 seconds to go. Then we threw the ball to Terry Porter with a 3-pointer from the baseline, and it skipped across the rim. I mean, it missed by an inch. At least we got into game 6. Yeah. Anyways, there you go. That was some of my takes right there. Not too bad, right? I don't agree with... I don't think Jordan's the best player that's ever played. I don't believe it. He's one of the best, he was a good defensive player, and he was a really good offensive player, but I don't know. It's just, he's right there though. I mean, I would, like I said, he's top 5 for sure. But if I was ever starting a team, it would be with Magic Johnson, the first person out of the gate, because that guy he turned ordinary players into superstars. Yeah, Clyde Drexler was on that dream team. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's always listed as one of the top 50. I mean, I'm sure he was on that list we just showed. He was incredible, like he'd score like 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists every single game, and he was a off guard. Kohberger at 4. Yeah, no, I put him at a millionth. Too soon. Shut up. Jesus. Too soon. You guys are hilarious. All right. Anyways, I'm going to take off, you guys. So let me say thanks to everybody. So CRR gifted a membership. Then we had Enid Melendez, and then Sandy Shirley told me to turn off the damn reaction bar. Then Your Logic, and then we had Enid said, Another super chat said, your logic and the work you do is outstanding. Well, thank you. Then we had Jenny from The Talk, then Ballerina. Then we had Ballerina said, I'm here to hear, but Gray. And then CRR, and then Ballerina said, Brian Kohberger is a wannabe. Fact. And then Phil Meister said, the gag order really helped squash the evidence the prosecution was prepared to bring out in the trial. I got to think they were going to nail. Well, of course, I think there's no chance that they would have lost. There could have been a hung jury because one of the nut job Prosecutor wackos made it onto the jury. And then we have CRR gifted another membership. So CRR was, I mean, she was all over the place helping out tonight. Let's see, then Lord Webb, and then Ballerina 00, and then Lizzie Robb, and then Mace Combe with new here. Enjoy the coverage. Well, thank you. And then we have Mary Mellon, and then Elizabeth Modio. I think the defendant had a mini flash bang device. Yeah, but he was never on the first floor. And then we have Aslamunchkin, new member, and then Ballerina. Do you think Brian's dad knew? I think we talked about that. I think he knew something. Katie Braid 9. I don't know if he knew he was a serial killer like kid, but I think he knew after the killing that, oh my God, my kid could have done this, because they knew what he was like. Katie Braid 9, and then Katie Dawson. 2 Katies in a row. What are the odds of that? Do you think the flash and firecracker sound Bethany heard could have been a taser? I mean, it could be anything. I don't think Kohberger was ever on the first floor. I guess that's where the problem is. I don't know what it was. And then CRR gifted 5 memberships, so that's 7 memberships. And then Lord Webb. All right, and then we have Christine 638 gifted a membership. Ballerine 00 gifted another membership, so thanks, Ballerina. And then Lana Davidson with a super chat. Then we have Krefeld Crew became a new member. Then M10 gifted 5. And then Sammy Day 3341 gifted 1. Then Ralph David, good stuff yet again, they said. And then Chris K gifted 5. That's very kind. Dirt Bike Pastrana. Susan Pritchard gifted 5. And then Dirt Bike Pastrana gifted 1. And then I gifted 5 because of you guys. And then ECW gifted a membership. Then Dixie gifted a membership. And then Kelly, the Wise Lady Hoff, gifted a membership. Then Jay Prez did a super chat recently, started watching you. So I just watched someone reviewing the new details, and I kind of discovered that one of the reports swapped Katie and Xana's names. I think Kaylee, yeah. Which I think created a lot of rumors like Xana's blood on the 3rd floor. Yeah, maybe that could have been exactly. And then Kit Kat. Hey, there was Kit Kat. Then Mel. And then Mr. Avery to you. I wet my pants every time you do the whiny, snowflakey voice. Well, Gray, you don't know the power of the spirit box. Dirt Bike Pastrana and Morier right at the end there. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And then we also had, that's right, we had the Ann Beavers from New Zealand. And then we had Lisa Valenzuela and Stacy. Lisa was a cat eye. So it's really more than a cat eye because it's not, YouTube doesn't take as much. So anyways, I want to say thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here and hanging out. That was, I hope it was an interesting show, anyways, even if we talked about basketball at the end there. Anyways, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. And as I always say, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what we'll bring out tomorrow. Who knows? But as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Damian Lillard isn't the best Portland Trailblazer.
And during this
He
whole
could
time,
be sad.
I
How
have
about
not
Kiki
seen
Vanderweer?
one person
Man, I love that guy,
that
scoring
is
wise.
a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector.
Hey, Lanky Tor, how's it going, Lanky Tor? How's it going, Lanky Tor, Lanky Tor, Lanky Tor? What's it going, Lanky Tor, Lanky Tor? Lanky Tor, Lanky Tor, Lanky Tor.
And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector
On his spectre, with all respect, y'all.
Just remember, I've a temple fucking
Check, show. I have no agenda.
I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back
Hey,
to work.
thanks, Lanky Tor. Those damn Warriors.
Drama.
Correct.